Welcome back. In the last video lecture, we were looking at this project when we were studying how to do basic math, right? The basic math operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo. That's the 5% 2 here. That's 5 modulo 2. It asks for the remainder of taking 5 dividing by 2. So 5 divided by 2 goes in twice with a remainder of 1. So it would print 1. There were a couple of things we looked at, right? Each project that we have has to have a source file with one and only one main. In the main, if we're going to work with variables, we have to leave space for the variables. These are integers, so we're calling that memory space integer. Integer can be signed and unsigned. If you leave out the signed or unsigned, it can depend on the compiler. I'm reasonably sure on this compiler, it means that the symbols can be signed, have positive and negative. We also mentioned the printf statement, right? So this is some formatting in text. It'll print out what's ever in here, and when it sees a format specifier, %i in this case, it's going to look at the first element in the list of variables and print out that number, right? All the way to, so %b is b, the last one is over here. Remember, every line of code ends with a semicolon. Okay? Printf is in a library called standard input output, which is a C library. That's why it has the chevron quotes. I've supplied you with a file, configuration uart.h and configuration uart.c, which has this function in it. And it tells the simulator how we would be communicating with the PIC. Right? We'll pay attention to that later. Anyway, we've compiled this project before, so we don't want to use it anymore. I'm going to remove basic math from my project. There, it's gone. Still print up here, but it's not part of the project anymore. I don't have a main. I'm going to add an existing item, and it's going to be mathShortcuts.c. So this is some code that I've supplied in the example code on the Moodle site, and I've put these files in here so we can work with them. So we're still in the same project call first, but we're changing which C file we're going to be compiling in this function. I can't see math shortcuts until I double click on it, and here it is. Okay. What I want to look at here are a couple of shortcuts that we will often use when we're doing mathematics. First of all, A++. That's the same as A equals A plus 1. It's just a shortcut. It's a little bit faster to the compiler to use A++ rather than A equals A plus 1. It's very similar. B minus minus, that's the same as take away 1 from B. C plus equals 5, well, that's add 5 to whatever C is. D times equals is multiply D by 3 and put it back into D. Okay. You'll notice up here when I assign space, I decided this time to make them unsigned integers, to be explicit about which type it is. Using the signed and unsigned keywords, really a good idea so that you don't confuse which is which. And if you switch the code to a different compiler, you'll have the signs correct. Okay, now one thing in the printf statement that's kind of useful right here is when I print out this piece of code right here is an instruction to the compiler to give me a new line and go to the start of the code. Okay? I'm going to show you how that works. So I'm going to build and compile. Bit of luck, there's no error messages here. Build successful. Going to the simulator. So let's look at this. Okay, so it's printed out the numbers that we'd expect to get, right? So A++, A started off at 10, so it's 11. B minus minus, 5 minus 1 is 4. C is 3, add 5 to it is 8. D is 2, multiply it by 3, and you get 6. Perfect. Let's stop there. Now I'm going to recompile this. Go back to the UART window. And what you can see is it's printed it underneath. I'm just going to remove this. Put it in again later. Stop. Rebuild. And then stop. Do it again. Go to the window. Now you see that it's printed it by the side. So these guys had go to a new line, go to a new line. This one doesn't have that, so it printed it out, and then the next time it printed it beside it. Just a little nicer for us to always format the printout so it's a little easier to read. So let's save that and stop right here.